Hello, it is I. I am live now. And also I am in my spot. So let me try and sometimes that helps, sometimes it makes it worse. Okay. So as you can see, you guys, well, let me go back. Hold on. Welcome to Being Back Alive, which is my weekly live stream where I talk about the challenges of being an adult autistic alive right now, and not when research catches up. And so every week I try to spend a little time talking about some of the challenges that come with that, others not so much. And, you know, what I've learned through the course of doing this and doing um, growing gratitude every week is that I do these streams as much for me as I do them for you guys, right? And so I want to introduce what is going to be a new series, I think, for the next little bit on Being Back Alive. Hey, CV. Hey, Joe. Um, and so, as you guys know, if you watch regularly or if you don't, catch up, I guess, I have been struggling with early burnout and not feeling great. Hey, Michelle, you have no sound? That's so weird. I will.
Joe,
This is so weird. How about that? Do we have sound now? Oh, it was you? Okay. Sorry about that. Um, anyway, so let's get back on track with that. What was I saying? Right. So I've been struggling with burnout and a whole bunch of other things. Um, and what I've decided to do is do a little series here. Um, I don't usually do like planned series on my live streams because what I usually talk about is whatever is sort of on the top of my head that I'm sort of struggling with. But my biggest struggle right now is burnout. I'm definitely in some early phase of burnout right now or some sort of mid phase. I don't know. When I talk, I wish there was another word. I guess I'm going to call it severe burnout, which I've had a couple of times in my life. And my goal with reordering my life and doing all the reprioritizing and the moving and all of the work that I've done over the last 10 years. I don't have water. Or yes, I do. Okay. Is to sort of track this whole situation and to work towards not having burnout again, right? But as we know, it can't be helped sometimes, right? A lot of things out in the world are not in our control. Some things are, and some things aren't. And we are impacted by all of those things, the things we control and the things that we don't. And so burnout is sort of inevitable. It's like sort of a human condition that we've created. And as an autistic person, it makes us that much more vulnerable. And our burnout itself is different. Okay. And so what I want to do, I think, because I can't deny that I'm in burnout and I've lightened my load and a whole bunch of other things. And I still need to deal with it and how I got here and how I'm going to get out of here and what kind of happened, right? Because it's been quite some time, at least 5 or 6 years before since I really had any kind of significant burnout happen. So it's concerning, right? And that's where I'm at with it. And so what I decided is the best use of our time together and the best sort of whatchamacallit, uh, the best way to document, I guess, is what I want to say, um, is to kind of document it here on the stream because to me, the reason I do all of these things is so you guys don't feel alone in it, but also to let you know that no matter how hard we work on ourselves, the fact is we're still autistic, and the fact is that burnout still sneaks up on us, and all of those things. And so I think in order to keep the channel what I want it to be, which is raw and authentic and vulnerable with you guys and real time and all of the things that and unedited and all of that stuff. In order to remain that way, I have to acknowledge the burnout in a bigger way. And that means because when I thought about it, I was like, dude, what am I going to talk about on gratitude? What am I going to talk about on live stream as I am in this burnout? Like, I'm going to be resting from burnout. There ain't going to be nothing exciting going on in my life. And I certainly will be limiting my activities outside of the home and things like that. So how boring for the channel. But then I thought, how not boring for the channel if I document this process, if I document kind of what it's like for me in it. So what I suggest is, because this was sort of a late start on this series, I should have probably started it like 3 live streams ago, but it wasn't a thought that I had. Hey, Bernard. So I now have had that thought. So what I say is, if you're interested in this series on burnout, go back like 2 live streams, two being Becca lives, because I talk a lot about what I'm going to quickly run through today. And then I want to officially just sort of document where I'm at, and then we kind of catch up. So that's what I'm going to use today for. And then starting next week, we'll sort of be caught up, and it'll be very much real time. I talked a lot about some of the early signs of burnout. And so what I want to call today is like recognition. Like the first phase of burnout is really, it's not even the first phase because you don't notice the first phase. So it's really the second phase. So the second phase of burnout is sort of this recognition, this acknowledgement that, okay, burnout is happening. I'm in the early stages, right? And then one of the ways that I have learned over the years to sort of recognize that earlier and sooner in the process is to know what my triggers are and to know what like my particular signs are. And so for the last 2 weeks on live stream, I've sort of been talking about that, right? I've had a hard time focusing. I've had a hard time accessing language. I've had a very huge lack of motivation, terrible amounts of negative self-talk. And just, then my appetite is weird. I've been seeking safe foods. I've not been sleeping great. Everything has been full of fatigue. And then most recently, I've been having physical symptoms, right? Where I am not feeling well physically, right? Where my Ehlers-Danlos is acting up, my migraines are acting up, my stomach and gastro issues is acting up, all of that stuff, right? And so, what did CV say over here? I find your sharing so valuable. It helps me put words to what I'm feeling. Okay, great. Then we're all on this trip together, because I share it with you guys, and I've learned to do it verbally because that was the way I learned to survive. And so I guess kind of wanting to share, the need to share with you what's going on internally for me is important, because I want you to know you're not alone, and I want to feel less alone. So yay. So that's what I've been talking about. And that's where that recognition comes in, where you notice that every day you're going, I'm too tired. I don't wanna, I don't care. Those are my phrases. When I start saying those things to myself and or out loud to other people about things, that is a huge sign for me that something is off, right? And so sort of part of that recognition phase for me is the looking back to like, am I really in burnout? If so, what did I do to get myself there? And so in the phase of trying to recognize that I'm like, yes, this is burnout, right? Where I'm trying to do that here. I'm having these symptoms, right? Blah, blah, blah. If this is burnout, how did I get here? Where did the mistake start is the next question for me, because before I forget it, I want to know where I stepped off, right? And so what that means is, to me, and in terms of the language I use in self-defined living, is at what point did I get out of alignment? At what point did I stop asking myself, am I choosing things, like, is this stuff in alignment with the life I'm trying to create? Right. And I looked back and, you guys, they were like red flags. And I don't know, but it's always a boundary issue. It's always when we become less vigilant about our boundaries that burnout sneaks in. And I noticed that a little bit ago, I started taking Friday appointments. I was like, I'll do it. And we need the extra money. It's okay, blah, blah, blah. And then I was taking, appointments later in the day. And then I was saying yes to things on weekends. And I was just ignoring my boundaries because all of these opportunities were presenting themselves. The thing is, it's our job to only choose the opportunities that are in alignment with the life that we are trying to create. And guess who forgot to do that? Right? I was saying yes to everything, right? Which is a sign of some, I was having some kind of mental disagreement about the state that I'm in. It was sort of, I was a desperate move to begin to take those appointments and those meetings and those interviews, right? At times where I know I'm not supposed to do things at those times, I'm supposed to have boundaries up, right? So that is definitely where it began. And it began, a whole bunch of yeses where I should have had nos in my calendar. And that, of course, is then tied into, especially, I should have been holding those boundaries during the time when I struggle with seasonal depression, you moron, right? And I had, I can see all of them lining up. And what I find interesting is this is a year when I should have especially been holding those boundaries, because as you guys know, I planted a whole bunch of seeds in 2021 that came to, or 2022 that came to be for this. No, I planted them in 2021 for them to come to be for 2022. And what I should be doing in 2022 is, like harvesting my garden, right? And not planting more. I should be working on the things I've planted. Right. And so I had this aha moment yesterday where now I know where I stepped off, but I also know where I got lost. And that's exactly it. I worked so hard to plant these seeds that came to fruition. I should now be tending my garden. I should be tending those things and not continuing to plant as though those plants won't make it. Does that make sense? What I should be doing is taking really good care of the things that came to fruition so that they flower and all of those things, right? I love the metaphors of gardens and flowers for this kind of stuff. Right? And so I had this moment yesterday, you idiot. Clear your calendar. Why are you doing interviews? Why are you making appointments with clients that are not, taking the course and things like that? Why are you agreeing to do editing jobs and things like that, when I should be writing my book and I should be working on the training for the research and I should be all of my spoons should be on those things, because they are the makings for my 2023. If I do them well and they come out great, my 2023 is going to be fantastic. And those are the things that I planted because they are in alignment with the life I'm trying to create. Right? That's what I wanted to do to myself. A, for breaking my boundaries on my schedule, and B, for like, how could I have lost sight of that obviousness? And just because those things mean less productivity on the outside to the world, like less interviews to share on the internet and less blog posts and less of other people's projects that I'm a part of, what it means is more, better, and bigger results from the things that are important to me, the things that I really care about, right? And the universe is like dragging me to do these things and giving me these opportunities. And here I am saying, yeah, I'll do that. But I'm also going to say yes to that, and yes to that, and yes to that. You moron. No, right? I already got my yeses. I got to stop spreading out my spoons any further. This year is going to be a dead year for me on the internet. There's just not going to be a lot of interviews because I don't have the time to do the interviews, because I've got some shit coming out for 2023. So what I need to do is change my perspective on that. Me sitting around writing my book is not me being lazy just because my social media stuff isn't so exciting. It's because I'm busy doing things that matter for 2023. So I had this revelation yesterday-ish and this morning, and that's the space that I'm in. I'm in the next phase, past the recognition and knowing that I've gotten there. What I'm in is the dig out now, right? This is the way out, Becca. This is the way out. You should be focusing on what's going on at the cafe and all the stuff that we need to be doing there. And that's one thing. My second thing is my book. And the third thing is this big giant research project that I've been given funding for, right? I have to tend the shit out of those gardens, right? Because I fucking used my blood, sweat, and tears to plant those seeds, right? So that's it for me. 2022 is all about being free of those things that I put on myself about social media and what people are seeing from me on the outside, right? And then, right, just blowing them the fuck away in 2023, right? It's the silent but deadly approach. I should be quietly doing my things and doing them well so that 2023 I can make the most of, right? Geez, it is so clear. It is so obvious now that I've had a little bit of time where I've stopped and sat with it, right? I had to slow down enough, right? Burnout had to slow me down enough so that I could see where I was making the mistakes and see that it all lies with me, right? And my choices, really, right? And so that's where I'm at. I'm in a redirectional phase. I'm now recouping and resting for the next. I'm going to desperately try for the next week to not push myself to produce anything, right? And let myself just recover and then let the production begin again. But I want you guys to know that I'm in a place really close to burnout where if I didn't have this revelation and I didn't force myself to stop because of the signs that I was seeing, right, I would be digging myself into a deeper burnout. And what I did is I threw myself like a life preserver and said, here, grab this, cancel these appointments, do that, do this. You need to rest. Fuck them, fuck this, fuck that, right? And take care of yourself. And with that became this recognition that I stepped off of alignment, where I stepped out of alignment, right? I ignored my boundaries. I was saying yes to too many things. And I wasn't focusing on the things that are important in order to create the life that I'm trying to build, right? And so there it is, self-defined living right there. And I broke those rules, and you see how easy it is to make those mistakes. And now I got to back up and I got to take care of myself. I have to take care of myself in a kind way and eat my safe foods till I feel like I'm ready to tackle foods outside of that category. I need to rest and sit on my couch and binge TV and do all of those things for some time before I can get back on the horse. But this time when I get on, my focus is going to be like pinpoint focus. 1, 2, 3. Cafe, research, book, right? And the other pieces, like these live streams, they're going to happen if I have the energy. And if I don't, I'm going to have to allow myself to let them go, right? But what I'm going to do is kind of take note of it. That's what I'm going to do, is use these live streams to track the way out, because I can see the way in, and I just explained it to you in the other few live streams before this, right? It's that recognition, and then it's this awareness and this desire to dig back out, right? But first, I must rest, but not quit, right? And that's where I'm at today, you guys. I'm in rest, but not quit, and I hope that this makes sense to you, right? I guess what I want to call this is sort of like burnout containment. That's what I want to call it. So I have burnout recognition and containment, right? And kind of containing the damage, and learning how to then dig back out. And that's sort of what this next few weeks on live stream are going to be about, because I'm going to document it the best that I can. And so what are you guys saying on the side? Let's see. Totally relating to sneaky slipping boundaries. Yep, real easy. When I took the responsibility of becoming a CCH licensee, so a care person, for a person with disabilities in her home, my me time has been dwindling because of what seemed like small sacrifices at the time, but they all add up. Yep. So you see, we start to say yes, and then we've like, yeah, now our boundaries are like, blah, 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 and we start letting other stuff in. And soon enough, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those things come in, and right, all of a sudden, right? So CV says, sometimes the universe gives me a physical pain symptom to literally stop me and realign. Yes, that to me is the last phase of it for me. When my body physical pain kicks in, I'm like, holy fuck, I haven't paid attention to my emotional pain, to my mental pain, to my spiritual pain. And now I'm having physical pain, right? So what all of those parts of ourselves have to recover after we've gotten there. And that's really where I'm at. I'm in recovery zone. And I want to document it because It is not a continuous process, recovery, and it has its ups and downs, recovery. It's not like it's a constant up, 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 up. I wish it was. I wish it was that easy, but I guarantee you, it's not going to be that way. I know that because I've experienced, right? How many times have I recovered from this? And I know that it's up and down days until I'm having consistent up days, right? So I'm looking at it that way. It is rest time, and that's what I'm in. And I'm going to share with you guys whatever capacity it is that I can show up for these live streams. And I want to document it in a vulnerable and authentic way. And that's what I'm going to fucking do. So that's what's coming at you in live stream, and probably some in gratitude as well, because that's going to play a part in it. Right. And so it's important that we talk about it. And so this is just the beginning. Go back to live streams, catch up, and I'm going to do my best to document what's going on for me. I hope you guys enjoyed that ride, because it's going to be interesting, and I have a feeling we're all going to learn some things along the way. So I look kind of forward to it in that way, that I wish I didn't have to go through it at all, because I shouldn't be in burnout in the first place. And I need to stop myself right there, because that's the beginning of the negative self. With that, you guys, I say thank you so much for spending 20 minutes and some spoons with me today. I think it's really important for us to continue the conversation. And though I need to take some things off my plate, this isn't one of them, because I need it, you need it, together we need it. And so I'm going to keep this on the plate. Anyway, with that, I say have an amazing rest of your day. Get out there and seek joy, share joy, create joy, all the joys. And I will be back here on Sunday with Growing Gratitude, and next Wednesday with the next installment of this Burnout Containment series. And I'll see you then, I guess. Feel free to comment. Of course, I love reading your comments. I love when you share your joy with me personally. I need as much as I can get right now. Feel free to email me. My email is down below. And of course, feel free, as always, to use my contact page to get in touch with me. I love seeing you guys out and about on the internet. So please feel free to reach out to me and comment on my stuff. And I am going to just turn this off and do a few things, and then eat lunch and get back on the couch and back to recovery, because I need to. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll see ya.